What's going on, everybody? It's Jonathan, and I want to tell a story today of two different pilgrims. So, back when Can Jam New York was happening, went to the Music Tech table, and there are various different prototypes there at the table. It was fun times, great to meet the water cooler people, great to meet the people at Music Tech because that's my favorite store. But anyway, one of the prototypes that I ran into was the Elysian Acoustic Labs Pilgrim. And I was blown away by it. Many people were. It was the talk of the water cooler thread. Like, people were just going nuts over it because it sounded so good. And then on top of that, you find out that the price is going to be $3.99. None of us believed it at the time, but yes, they are out, $3.99. My video will be going up a day after this video because I suck. I should have timed it better, but I didn't. So fast forward to Can Jam Singapore, and they showed up with a Effect Audio, Elysian Acoustic Labs, Pilgrim Noir. And it was like, wait, so what is this beast? And slowly news came out that it was a warmer, more impact. It had a different design, and it was a collaboration between Effect Audio and Elysian Acoustic Labs. And that's been done before. They've worked together before. So that made me super excited because I really like the Pilgrim, and as you see in my review, I think it's excellent for $3.99. And at $3.99, there's so much competition now because you got the Hype 4, the Dusk, so many other great IMs there. But I feel like still the Elysian Pilgrim still is a little bit ahead. And now we have the sexy and brilliant Noir. And these take what I love about the Pilgrims and take it to another level. So let's take a deeper dive into what we have here. Normally I would do a regular unboxing video, but because this was sent to me by Effect Audio to do a review on, and I will be sending it back afterwards, I do not have a box for it. This is basically how they came. I got the IMs and the cables. And so they didn't ask me to say anything. They just said, hey, a loaner model, do a review and tell us what you think. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Now that we have the history out of the way, let's talk about the two companies. So you've got Elysian Acoustic Labs on one side, and you've got Effect Audio on the other side. So we know Elysian Acoustic Labs has great hits like The Annihilator, and then we have the Pilgrim here. And Effect Audio has actually worked with Elysian before, so this isn't their first rodeo working together to produce an IM. Here are a couple of their cables, the Fusion 1 and the Code 24C. So they make some beautiful and excellent cables, aftermarket cables. Actually, when it comes to them working together, it makes sense because they've done it before and they just know how to merge and work together to produce a really good sound. So here we go. A lot of people are asking, well, the Pilgrim is $3.99 and this is $7.99. Is this just the Pilgrim with a really cool Eros S custom cable? Which this is what this is, and it's a really nice cable. But no, it's not that. There are some differences with it. So with this one, you get one DD and 3 Sonyon BA hybrid drivers, okay? So 3 balanced armature drivers and 1 DD. This one is a little bit different. This one comes with 1 DD, 2 Sonyon balanced armature low, mid, and mid-high drivers, and then they add the Knowles balance. So they take one of those Sonyon drivers off this one, and they add a Knowles balance armature for the highs. So that is the difference internally, but there's even more. And the easiest thing for me to say is like, let me read the marketing material because there's a lot of good stuff in it. Doubling up with dual mid drivers with the exclusive HyperCore twin thrust module and featuring a new 4-way crossover design alongside a bespoke Effect Audio internal wiring mix and a custom cable. You can expect the Pilgrim Noir to provide a more sophisticated, smoother, and seductive sound compared to the Pilgrim. For all the people out there that I've seen on the message board saying that this is just a painted black Pilgrim, there's no change in the drivers, and it's just a pretty chord, that's not true. They've actually changed it up and enhanced it and made it better. Because, come on, they have to justify the price. And actually, it works. It works really well with this IM. I talked about the differences internally. Let's talk about externally when it comes between the Pilgrim and the Noir. So the Pilgrim, my review is actually going to come out a day after the Noirs. And in it, you will find out that I think that all in all, the presentation, the look is just awesome, especially for $399. I think the cable is really super nice. It doesn't tangle, and it's just a very comfortable cable. But we're here to talk about the Noir. So as you can see, the Noir comes with an Aero S cable, a custom cable from Effect Audio. You can see the Elysian on one side and the Effect on the other side here. But what I really love are the gold accents. I think they look really, really nice. This cable is extremely comfortable. You've got more gold here. And then, of course, on the tip. But it is a very nice cable. It's a very comfortable cable. I haven't had any microphonics. And I just think these, I'm not really into black anything, black headphones. Even though I do like my Meze Empyrean 2s, I think they're stunning. And I think these two are stunning. So I think they did an amazing job pairing of the two companies' philosophies on very good looking product. So you've got a beautiful IEM, but you also have an outstanding and gorgeous cable. Feedback from you guys about how you enjoy my passion when it comes to explaining why I like the sound. And as you will see in the forthcoming videos, I have a new litmus test, and it's all about how something makes me feel and if it makes me feel a certain way. And let's talk about these. Effect Audio, we're just going to call them Noir. Effect Audio, Elysian Acoustic Labs, Noir. But we're just going to call them Noir because that's just so much easier. So how do they make me feel, and do they make me feel that certain way? Yes, they do. Because I've learned on this journey that I truly like I like, on certain occasions, a bright sound. I like treble to be really, really good, but I also don't want it to be the outlier. I like everything to have a nice balance. This is where Noir comes in, because I think compared to the Pilgrim, they have better treble, but it's not as prominent, but it's back more into the fold. You've got these glorious, weighty, warm, punchy mids, and this crazy bass that I still can't explain. It's the same bass that you get in the Pilgrim, but it seems like it's up a notch, and it's just, I don't know what it is about the bass on this IEM, but it's special. The way that it hits and the way it also rumbles is just awesome, but I get ahead of myself. So, certain things I've been listening to is Billie Eilish and her new album, and Phineas, her brother, who produces and does all the background stuff to make her music sound so good, is a brilliant person. And on the new album, one of the tracks that I'm like testing IEMs with is Chihiro. I think it's track number 3. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but it has this bass sound, and it almost sounds kind of like it's underwater, but it's also kind of like that sound when you're outside of the club, but you hear the bass thumping. And the way these do the bass on that is just awesome. The only thing that I like better that does this bass are my Ravens, but that's a whole different price bracket. But I love how they do the bass. On these, they do the bass like extremely, extremely, extremely well. The mids are nice and lush. Males and females. One of my favorite songs also to test, especially with warmth, is You Belong to Me, but the Doobie Brothers version. And when the organ comes in right in the beginning, it just puts me in this 1970s. I don't know. My childhood, I feel like, was filled with the home stereo that was warm and just a lot of warm sound, and it takes me back. Same thing with the Arthur video from Flip Ears. I like when something triggers something in me, and it takes me back to some time in my life when I enjoyed the way a music sounded. And these do an excellent job of that, especially in the mids, because Michael McDonald's voice comes in, and you know he's got that blue-eyed soul voice, you belong to me, and it's just, oh, so good. The organ sounds good. Something else I've been listening to is Yusuf Day, a brilliant percussionist, and then his experiences with a brilliant keyboardist, a brilliant guitar player, a brilliant bassist, and you put them all together and it's just an extraordinary listen. So something like Tioga Pass, where you almost feel like you're floating because all the beautiful sounds and then the drums. So I bring up Yusuf Days because I realize, like, when it comes to like Yusuf Day, Polyphia, Sincato, cymbals are really important to me. There's also Manu Katché, a French drummer I like listening to, and he's the god of the cymbals. Like, that's the basis of him keeping rhythm when he plays jazz. There's just a lot of cymbal play. Yellow Jackets, cannot remember the drummer's name off the top of my head. He's phenomenal, cymbal play. So I listen to a lot of things, and it's important for me for the treble and the cymbals not to be in my face or splashy or sharp or unrealistic. And I felt the Pilgrims did an excellent job with treble, but this is a whole different level because it's more refined. It still has the same extension, but everything is more balanced. So when they say refined, for refinement compared to the Pilgrim, I feel like they nailed it because to me, it is a more balanced sound and it's just so good. There's good separation in the soundstage. The separation of the instruments is excellent. Timbre is very good. Like it's just a well-refined, excellent IM. That's all I could say. Like, and it's an all-arounder. When people say all-arounder, what does that mean? And like I can listen to classical, jazz. I like a lot of vocal stuff. I like a lot of instrumental stuff. So of course the Yiba is one of my favorite ones. So I love listening to her sing, and that's kind of important for me. Where I love an IM where the instrumental sound really really good, but also the voices sound really really good. And I think they nailed the mids on these. So I think that for $7.99, just like the $3.99 Pilgrim, these punch up a bit higher. I'm going to say something sacrilege. Everybody knows my favorite IM is the Empire Ear Raven. That's fine. My second favorite IM is the Theaudio Monarch MK3, and it sits at $999. And I gotta say, I think these give the Monarchs a run for their money because I know the Monarchs have the two DDs, but the one DD inside the Noir, it's just something special. I don't know what it is. Like it's very detailed, it's very punchy. It just has this really brilliant sound to it. It's really engaging. It just gets you wanting to get up and dance, and it's a lot of fun. The mids, I would say this has probably a little bit more detail in the mids. You hear a lot more emotion with the singers on the Noir compared to the Monarch MK3. And I think the treble is very good in the MK3. In fact, it's really, really good. Excuse me. So what happens when you're 50. For some reason, you get gas. So I think the treble is very good in the Monarchs, but I think this treble is very good. I think a little bit better. So we're talking about $7.99 for the Noir, and then $1,000, or if you want custom, $1,150 for the Monarch MK3. So I feel like at this price, they're already pushing up into the kilobuck, and they can compete against the kilobuck. And I know for both of the CEOs of the company, Pilgrim for Elysian was to sit there and say, hey, we're going to bump into this $400 market and we're going to disrupt it. And I think they're also doing the same thing with these Noirs. I think for the price that they're at, especially too, you get this gorgeous custom Aero-S cable with it. That adds to it too. And it's a cable that you can use with your other because it has the Effect Audio genius of being able to put a 2-pin on it, change this from being 4.4 to 2.5. Like you get all the bells and whistles for a glorious price. So that being said, to sum it up, I think when it comes to just this pure sound for $799, it's going to be really hard to beat these with something that is around that price. You're going to have to beat these with something that's a lot more expensive. Let's talk about if these are worth your money. I believe they definitely are worth your money. Between you getting the Aero-S custom black cable with the black sheathing, and then the added driver or the different driver with these compared to the Pilgrim, and then the sound enhancement that you get, these are definitely an excellent choice. Especially too, because I think the value in here lies with that they sound just as good or better than a lot of IMs that maybe even be twice their price. Definitely in the early thousand range, but maybe above that. They reveal as well. They are are holographic as well. Like when it comes to the sound stage, they're just as deep, or they're just as wide. And I think also when it comes to treble alone and bass alone, they really get up there. But the mids are very lovely, very lush, very warm, body to it, just nice. So I hope this video helps. If you have any question, like always, leave it in the comments and I'll answer it. And I will see you in the next video.